Welcome back, everyone, to the Paladins Pro Circuit. We're moving our way across the Atlantic there into Brazil as we're looking at Fatal Ambition versus, I've already forgot the second team, even though I have it right in front of me. InControl Nation that is going to be coming through. Thank you so much, Kresnik, as we once again are going to be covering this set. And you had already kind of highlighted it, but one of these sets, I believe it was Fatal Ambition, or one of these two teams, I should say, has been going through interesting swaps that they kind of can sub someone in depending on what kind of comp they want to run.
Yeah, as long as they... I feel like it's kind of a giveaway, though, sometimes, right? Because if they come in with Divino,
you're
like, all
right,
they're playing two tanks. They come in with Headed, it's like, all right, they're probably playing triple DPS. Like, you can kind of predict it a little bit ahead, and I feel like that can be a disadvantage, but they can also, you know, when they have Headed in, they can have double hit scan with both the controller players, and then have, you know, I think RC flex to an off tank, which he has done in the past. But when they have Divino in, then they have the blaster pressure. I just don't know what his DPS pool looks like if they want to run that triple DPS instead. They kind of have to kind of shift things around quite a bit to enable that. And I do have the map bans here. Fatal Ambition banned Warder's Gate and Shattered Desert, and InControl Nation banned Ice Mines and Frog Isle.
Man, they were so close. You ban Ice Mines and Splitstone, you win my heart. It's gotten to the point, Kresnik, at least for me. Splitstone, so here's my reasoning. I don't dislike it as a map. I actually love playing on it. I think it's very competitive. I do enjoy watching it because it gives us some of the closest games. But I see it every single set nowadays, so I want it to fall a little back, right? You know what I mean? It's gotten to the point where, like, I had a list of standards. It was Serpent Beach, Jag Falls, Frog Isle, Bright Marsh, Stone Keep were the 5. I feel like I have to expand it to 6 because Splitstone's played almost as much, if not more, than some of those other maps. I mean, we see more Splitstone than we see Frog Isle nowadays.
Yeah, no, Frog gets banned a lot more because of how strong the snipers and some of the backlines are, honestly. But we're going to be sitting standard, I would say, here for the very start, because Jaguar Falls is going to be map number 1. I would just return to, I think, what we were seeing a little bit earlier as I get all this typed in and ready. I will say, I did not realize this until we got here, but there actually something went wrong, and I actually don't have the pick order. I only have the picks. So what I'm going to do live, normally if I know this, I prepare it ahead of time, but what I'm going to do for you live is make up the draft with the right picks. I have the bans, but I don't have the picks, so I'm going to have to come up with something that I think makes sense with these picks that I have, because the order that I have definitely was not the order that they were picked up in, at least for some of them. So me and you together, Gore, well, maybe just me, and you can maybe help me chain the decisions from piece to piece. We'll see if we can get things accurate here as we go into the draft.
Well, this is one that honestly could go either way. Fatal Ambition have been that team that always push us to the distance. I keep calling them, I think that they have the OS Balamansa effect, where you're keeping things very close, but unfortunately never winning the set. And I think that's another case that we might run into here, especially against a team like InControl. A lot of Brazil, at least for the very beginning of the year, was, okay, we're talking about Parallax. Realistically, right now, you should still be talking about Parallax. And then, you know, there's a hint of Carnage Gaming. And then eventually InControl really just kind of forced us to discuss them as well. But now I think that this has become a point where they are more in the conversation, even closer, I would say, with Carnage and some of the others, keeping things close as we go into the bans. Torvald Mave, Vivian Ash overall taken away. I'm excited to see what this team's able to do, but more excited to see what Fatal Ambition have to offer up.
Out of these picks, Corvus makes the most sense as a first pick to me. I think them having these pockets to supplement, I think especially with Torvald gone, I think you want a solid support to keep the team kind of going and have that healing to spread out a bit as well InControl, with not a lot of ways to answer that. I think they have to maybe take the Genos early in response to it, so you can deny them that double pocket. You don't want them to get both of them because it's so easy to run away from a game when you have that happening. And then I think what a good pairing with this would be was you probably want a DPS, one that can be flexible, do a little bit of everything. And Shaolin, I think, gets banned quite a bit in Brazil, so I think it would make sense to go this early, especially if you don't want them to pick a ROM or a Ruckus or any of those mobile off tanks on the other side.
Yeah, that's a lot of options, I think, that are just still available. It's actually interesting, Kresnik. I feel like we don't end up in a position where a tank isn't top 3 in
Mhm.
most of these games. And Nara, at the very least, gets scooped up usually at this point. Genos and Nara, maybe you grab her with another support, but either way, it's going to slip all the way down to 4th pick, which honestly isn't slipping down anywhere. She's still up towards the very top. The Shaolin, though, for InControl, I think has to go big because they top it. I mean, over things like Victor, Vivian, over things like Eevee. You know, what else have we seen big here? Lex in Brazil, Talus, we've seen Koga, all do
Yeah.
very well on this map. This Shaolin has a lot to live up to because of that. But again, I have to give InControl the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I think for sure InControl picking things that should be able to function here. The Shaolin will do good damage, I think, to that Inara. The Nando and Xin, I like this combination. I think the Immortal is a great way to extend fights. The Xin, of course, is going to pair very, very well with that Genos. And now Fatal Ambition need to have something that they can pocket that maybe can kind of keep up with it, right? If they have something that wants to play well with those Corvus marks, and it will be Androxus here pairing with that to play off of that damage. Double hit scan being picked up means to me we might be seeing headed in instead. We'll find out once we finish the draft out and head into the game. But the last pick for them, Corvus probably wants another tank here. So Atlas as the last pick here. Deja Vu has a lot of map control. It can rewind away from some of that damage. Just have to be really careful of that Shaolin because that crippling arrow can stop him from using that second chance, and he might be very easy to pin down.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what this is doing, though. Xin locked in right there, as you had highlighted. Cassie coming in as well. I don't know. Nara may be able to withstand this. The Atlas, I think, is going to struggle a little bit here in my eyes. Then again, I've been thinking that about Atlas for weeks, and I've continually been proven wrong about that. So we'll have to see whether or not he's able to come through. Triple DPS, though. Shaolin, Cassie, the Bow Bros back at it again. Although Cassie, yeah, she's a bro in, you know, I guess, nature form. It's the sunglasses on the one skin that really seal the deal there. I'm excited to see what InControl Nation are able to do. This feels like a good Jag Falls comp.
Yeah, I agree. I like the double backline for it. I think there's a lot of, ability to lock down all the lanes and kind of enable the Nando to do whatever they want, more or less. The Nando should feel quite protected. The only issue is going to be when they try to collapse on them. When the Andro and the Atlas and the Inara come knocking down the door while they're trying to hold, it'll be a lot tougher to survive through it. And just to say, it is Divino in. I can now see this on my end of things. Divino is the one who's in. So the double tank was foretold in the draft phase, and it is not the double hit scan. It is double hit scan, but it's RC in instead of not PS1. We can head into the game, and you guys can also see these rosters here for game 1 on Jaguar Falls.
It's an exciting one, I think, to say the least, here in Brazil. Everything can come together or fall apart depending on how we see Fatal Ambition play. Groundford on this Inara, maybe entirely dependent on for this team to be able to find the win. King Kaiser on the other side, a name that you can't forget, but not playing the emoji. Maybe to Fawn's upset. Somewhere in the universe, you can feel him crying a little bit, knowing that emoji is not available to him. He's on the Zen this time. Could still make a very big difference for them. And of course, Kresnik, it's not at the beginning of a game unless you get a nice little pause going on for yourself to delay it a little bit longer as they get set up here. I mean, this is one of those moments where you have to maybe be running the discussion, right? I said Shaolin has to carry a lot of weight on him. I think Cassie does as well. But the other 3 picks on the side of InControl there for me really do scream not only Jag Falls, but a really good control comp on Jag Falls, especially if the Zen can have some great moments like we've seen in the past from King Kaiser.
Agreed. It's going to be really, really hard for them, I think, to push into the damage that they have, basically, right, with someone holding every single lane as we are here in the game on the rollout. Them getting very close. You can already see kind of how they're splitting it. One person in every lane, but Andrew's so aggressive right at the start.
Already some good shots. RC God looking for, well, Eclipse. Not able to find it there. Looking to try and burn through Ice Monkey's shield. Good rewind. Maybe an upsetting rewind, though. It gives Fernando the chance to get out of there. The shield comes back up. So far, no first blood. Fatal Ambition, though, 39% on the point. It's all up to controlling it from here on out. First blood finally comes through, and it's not where you'd want it if you're a Fatal Ambition fail. It's Mika finding himself a double kill, looking for one more. If he can find it across the way. Good shots connecting. It's going to be the rest of the team that pick up those kills and continue the pressure going forward. 72% It's not enough to get the capture there for Fatal Ambition, and now InControl looking to do exactly what their name implies and hold on to this one.
Yeah, as they keep this going forward. Thank you for not taking the easy way out there, by the way, Gore. Thank you for reaching beyond the name that was freshly placed in your mind. Groundford manages to slip by, but there's no way he's getting in, and even if he tries to, KingKaiser will honestly just execute him with this guillotine, which is already charged up here for him. Everyone on Fatal Ambition's side kind of stacking in one lane, and Mika just picks off Rubson while trying to cross from side to side.
Good shots from Mika. Again, the Shaolin. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and issue, I think, a formal apology. I'm sorry, I doubted you. Apparently, you're insane on Shaolin. Another double kill looking to come through. That's technically 3 in a row right there. An unstoppable 7 streak for the kills that come through. I'm going to have to cancel out. I will admit, I completely forget the name of new not planted because it's not planted anymore. Rapid shot that comes through. Either way, it's insanely good for Shaolin being able to move around.
It's very powerful for knocking down shields and stuff too, like it always was, except now he can actually escape if he uses it in maybe a bad way. But this card is still moving, Gory. It has not really stopped, and Mika won't stop either with another kill.
Can't stop, won't stop. Shaolin make the arrows drop. Either way, he's been going forward with it. Another couple of kills. RC God taken down. There's going to be a rapid shot right into an Anar. Makes it pretty easy. Souza credit for the kill. We saw where the damage came from, though. Either way, this Shaolin finally gets taken down. That's a big kill credit for Headed over there. Unfortunately, Kresnik, it really doesn't mean anything if Mika is able to cause so much trouble beforehand. 9, 1, and 4. One of the only 2 kills Fatal Ambition got was there on to that carry. KingKaiser, the other one, at 0, 1, and 4. But creates a lot of space, I think, for that Shaolin. Makes me wonder where Fatal Ambition are going to put the pressure this round.
I just want to make a quick note that Mika has 2 more kills than everybody else in the game combined right now. He has 9. There is 5 other ones on his team, and only 2 on the side of Fatal Ambition. So out of the collective 15 kills in the game, he's got 9 of them. 16 kills. Wow, my math is horribly wrong. But still, that first number was right. He is that much further ahead than everybody else right now, which is why he has this caught 3. He's running away in this credit department here while they keep this space being taken. This Brush does get an early kill for Fatal, and that's something they can play off.
Now, this is a good start for them, like you said. Without having that Luminary boost, the damage disappears. Well, you would think it would. KingKaiser didn't seem to get the memo. He's doing it all on his own anyway. Now, isolated, long away. They find the kill onto RC God. One more hit onto Divino is going to be able to get the kill there, but they didn't quite find it. There's a second chance, and they just take his health bar back down the way they did the first time. 74% seems to be a cursed number here for Fatal Ambition. Mid-70s. Once again, stalled out. Great shot, KingKaiser. I don't know where that one came from, but either way, a sword flying through a doorway is going to be able to help pick up the kill on the Headed. Everyone else zoned out. Even though they have that comeback mechanic, doesn't seem like they're going to be able to get back in. There's the Entropic Breach trying to come through. Even a Seismic Crash to try and lock up Souza, but it doesn't seem to be enough. Groundford just trying to stay alive at this point. Unfortunately, there's just too many points of entry for InControl, and they're finding all of the damage they need to find these kills. Divino gets a good reset. Can he touch? Answer, yes, as it comes through. Mika goes down as well. Second death of the game. The pressure still there. Good shot from Souza. That gets rid of the tanks, it gets rid of the pressure, and it gives InControl their 3rd point of the game.
Yeah, for sure. No way anybody else can get in. That was almost a great double by Max Souza there with the kind of sneaking it near under the point when they couldn't necessarily see it coming. Divino fighting so many other people. He could not get out of the way in time, also lacking that second chance by that point as well. But this big shield, it's used so passively, it's used so early, that now there's, what, 20 seconds? Let me see this. 15 more seconds till he has his only defensive cooldown as they hold back here, and space is just being taken by InControl. If they move a little faster, they can punish this, but Kaiser's going to do it himself.
Oh, that's going to be a lockdown. Spite right on target. Mika just goes ahead and steals that one away, though, from the Zen. Either way, we know where, again, the damage is coming from. That wall well placed by Divino to make sure Headed stays alive. Unfortunately, only feels like it's prolonging the inevitable. Kresnik, I feel like last time I dropped it right around here to say that the damage from Mika, everything was going well, but that payload made it all the way this way in just a minute. With Ice Monkey going down, maybe we will get the stall that we're hoping for. Fatal Ambition, I mean, backs against the wall. This is almost a 4-0.
Yeah, Fatal are struggling right now to kind of get a foothold and maintain here. And they finally, as I say that, of course, they break through. They get a couple kills, use the big shield to take a little bit of ground as it was angled in to force them to rotate away. And InControl are now all stuck on one corner of the map, but too far from Fatal. Look at this. They're just getting pinched and completely surrounded. And even then, the other side that's grouped up is also losing players.
All the aggression coming through. Mika able to find one, trades out his life for the other. Cassie gets aggressive, and the two hanging out together. It's a DPS combo that goes back years in Paladins, can work out well together, especially when they're set up like that. Unfortunate for Wake Up Amadeus, though. The grenade wakes him up, and sends him back to base. I guess puts him to sleep in this case, realistically. They have 30 seconds to get back to that payload. It's regressed pretty far as well, Kresnik. You're going to need a lot of that strength we saw at the beginning of this round in order to pull this one back.
They do have some ultimates, though, and there's no reason, I think, if you're InControl, not to spend them here, right? I mean, when Immortal can basically turn this thing on its head already, and they've already forced one back. I mean, RC had to go back to the spawn, and this Guillotine's coming in and catching Divino. That's 2 kills already.
Well, they're already, like you said, numbers advantage, 3v5, 6 seconds until anyone else comes back, 8 seconds until this timer runs out and we're in overtime. There's a seismic crash to try and pull it back, a cursed arm as well, but they're not finding the kills they need. Overtime coming through, payload still moving forward, Groundford taken down. Do they get one more shot from this Genos, or is it gonna just seal the deal beforehand? Nope, no more ults, they don't need it. That Atlas just outside the circle. The conversion comes through, the 4-0 happens. And I had highlighted this as, you know, Fatal Ambition being able to keep up and maybe keep pace and force us into some long games, even if they lose the set. But so far, doesn't seem to be the case.
Yeah, and Fatal might have been able to extend that a little bit more, but Divino was just a little bit too distracted by what was going on behind him. Unfortunately, unable to really turn and fight the rest of it. Divino also really struggling this game on the Atlas. I think it's just a hard game for him, though. Shaolin stops him from moving. Cassie bullies him, so his shields aren't as easy to place. Just a very difficult Atlas game, getting out damaged by the majority of the rest of the team. Headed did a pretty solid job, but still unable to keep up with the triple DPS Luminary boosted composition that InControl rolled out to Jaguar Falls with.
Yeah, and honestly, I think there's certain points. I mean, Shaolin, very highly top picked, so somebody that had to go big. Mika then did go big in that sense. I mean, 14-5, kind of hard to argue against that one. I think you just get a draft that works out very well. The team plays very well on Jag Falls as well. And, well, I can't say well anymore. Now, they just do it.
Well.
I had to say well one more time. Either way, they end up playing exactly the way you would expect. The draft works out the way they would want it to. And now they find themselves pretty far ahead. The question is if you can keep that amount of pressure. I mean, that felt very lopsided, maybe even from picks and bans. We'll have to see if they can do it again in game number 2.
And that wasn't even InControl's map. That was them on second pick,
Wowzers.
just saying, yeah, we're gonna be kind of sick. By the way, if you haven't played against us here, InControl, going out to that early beginning here, as I need to get some stuff together. But the next map I will let you know right now is going to be Bright Marsh as the next. So we're kind of sticking with a similar theme here, as I actually just had to go do not disturb a game because I just got a DM asking me to do an Andro 1v1 from someone random. I don't know what he is expecting right now,
Man,
but I don't know his time. It's 4 p.m. on a Friday. I guess it's a Friday.
Part of me feels like you have to do it, but part of me also feels like we are in the middle of a broadcast. I don't know. The professional in me is saying that you have to stay here and finish out the day. The other part of me is saying that maybe we just call it short and you go ahead and go do your 1v1. I don't know. Maybe we broadcast and cast that instead. Who knows? I don't know. We're in the middle of a set.
Me and Fawn got to do that recently. We casted. There was a little community 1v1 tournament that we got to cast. I would definitely recommend those of age watch it because we were not as careful with our language necessarily as we were on these broadcasts as we have to be, but it was still a pretty enjoyable time. I think to do shout outs to Roni for putting that together. I am still having to get something here. So Gore, is there anything you expect to change between that map and Bright Marsh?
Well, I mean, maybe, I don't know. You can't really ban Shaolin, but I don't know what kind of changes you can make. I guess maybe to the front line more than not, but play style. Maybe they swap players since that's something they're able to do. Maybe you just go in with, again, maybe a more solid plan around your draft. Shaolin, Cassie, as well as the Xin. Xin may be someone you could ban away just because he's very solid and does work well on Bright Marsh as well as Jag Falls. But again, the DPS they got it done with Kresnik doesn't necessarily scream #1 to me. I mean, I'm not trying to ban Shaolin in this meta right now when he comes up once in a blue moon. I'd be just as likely to maybe ban Drogoz, maybe a little less likely to ban Drogoz because of how little he's been played.
How off the beaten path he is.
Yeah, your Victors, your Vivians, all of that still being available. It's kind of crazy that they were able to get it done that well with Shaolin.
Yeah, I think I'd agree. Shaw was being banned in Brazil for a while, though. We do have the draft ready now here with InControl on the first pick on this map. Shaw, I fully expect to see it come out again from either team. I think both teams have the capability of playing it, and bans should probably stay about the same. You don't want some of those pockets necessarily, I think, coming out. Maybe see them take rid of those, get rid of those flankers, get rid of these aggro tanks as well, and Vivian from InControl will be the first one gone with the controller players on the other side. I think it makes sense to keep that prioritized.
Yeah, lock her down. I mean, honestly, if you're able to pull out picks like Shaolin and have it look as good as it did, Cassie look as good as it did, you could just ban Vivian Victor every single game here and be very confident in it. Although, when it comes down to Bright Marsh, Victor is solid, he works, but I think Vivian, as noted by the bans, is maybe higher priority all around to get rid of. This is also a map, I mean, if I'm in control of InControl is what I should say, I then draft Bomb King because I love him here, but I can't control where they go.
Yeah, definitely. You could draft it, but they might have ways to deal with it, right? Just put some shields in the way, run him down. Nando is a popular pick here, and I think Nando is actually pretty good at dealing with some of those pickups here, but InControl will keep one thing the same, Corvus as a priority pickup. Team Fatal Ambition now needed to have an answer, and that answer will be Victor on the first rotation here, and I think it makes sense to pair it with a Genos there to get rid of that Genos-Corvus combination that we know can be quite lethal, of course, paired up with any flanker that they manage to get InControl now. Probably want to take a pocket away from Fatal Ambition.
Yeah, I mean, being able to, I think, solidify a little bit more in your favor. Victor Genos is a good combo for anybody. Corvus and Nara, I feel like pairs a little bit better overall on this map. Again, I'm looking for what Mika's going to pick up. They get an Andro, solid on Bright Marsh. Kresnik, I'm going to go out of the Sidewinder and say, when was the last time we got to see Pip on this map? I just feel like Pip he should be a pocket. I want to see him. Bring him out. Somebody lock him in.
We could see it. I could see it, but I could also see a Barrack picked up by Fatal Ambition to play with that. Oh, that face was not what I expected. Gore. I mean, it's paired with a Genos here. It's paired with the Victor. He can shield. There's only Andro hit scan right now, so his life isn't that awful, but it will still be a struggle for him, especially with 2 counter picks still remaining for InControl to deal with this Barrack.
See, the thing is I think Barrack, at least in my mind, the reason he paired so well with Genos before, very similar to Ashe, was he did decent damage. He still does. But he also had a lot of survivability. I mean, we saw Barrack with Genos behind him keeping up with Anaras that had Maldambas behind her, right?
Yeah.
And granted, that's ludicrous. You should never be able to do that. So it makes sense that that's kind of fallen down. But it's also just, I think his healing and his survivability as a whole isn't that great anymore. So Andro, Shah, Lex, I don't know. I'm a little more worried about what they're going to be doing than I think I'm worried about the Barrack. Zen, though, I had said it coming into this map, fits well here. Lex is the wild card, and in Brazil more specifically, because this is where we really only get to see him picked up. And so InControl have the deciding factor there. That Lex, hit or miss, is the one to try and make things work. And here's the other side note. I mean, Makoa has been coming out of nowhere. I called it into existence, I think, yesterday at one point. It just feels like he's slowly been getting picked up by a couple more teams as they realize, like, your Ashes, your Torvalds, let's say your Ruckuses are still very solid and sometimes worth banning. You got to go somewhere else in the tank pool. Terminus doesn't always get it done. Makoa's right back in there. Maybe not top pick anymore, but he's making it through.
Yeah, the Makoa people are figuring out he has a little bit of value, of course. Hook is always going to be good. You're never going to hit a hook and be like, if only that ability was better. Because it really just can't be. It is such a good ability to use, and whenever it connects, you will almost always get a kill with a coordinated team. We can head into the game right now and see who will be playing what. Looks like no switch-ups on the side of Fatal Ambition. Divino still in and now rocking that Makoa as they have a continue to be running, with that triple DPS comp on the side of InControl Nation. This Lex, I don't know how I feel about picking a Makoa into a Lex. That's my biggest concern right now because Makoa Barrack have massive craniums. I mean, they just absolutely huge. They're going to be getting headshot all game long, and they are playing it into some very tough games here. And I think he rolled out with the wrong talent because he's Pluck with a half shell build here, Gore.
Well, that already kind of hurts deep down inside, but also, and you had to look at it, you mentioned not only that Lex is able to find headshots pretty easily against these two. I'm thinking of the shields. They're not going to do much against the Lexecute that comes through the Law on the other side. But hey, you know what? It's Mika. It's Shaolin. These go together pretty well overall. They pair better than, I guess, cheese and wine. I think that's a pairing people like. Either way, yes. I'm not a big wine fan, if you can't tell. It comes through. King Kaiser gets taken down, trying to click those heads, not able to do so, but it's 50% already on board for InControl.
And they're still staying on the point, even with that first pick going their way. It looks like they're actually crippling, or am I just crazy? I'm going to take a double check just to be sure. No, it was just looking like a big field. The slow really messing up that team, and Ice Monkey getting caught in by that. The hook still managing to find value, but it's traded out, and that's all InControl here, I think, can ask for. With the slowing down just a little bit. They need their spawns to come in. They are charging their ultimates very quickly, and if they get some more damage, this heat haze could be how they initiate this fight, because Mika is hitting everything right now.
It's again up to the Shaolin. It feels like the weight on his shoulders, but he's carrying it just fine. Either way, good damage from InControl and good control on the point. They get 100. Not able to get the touch in there is Zin. Just a little too late. Shield comes up for Makoa. Looks like RC God should be dead. Headed goes down first. Give it a second. Mika will find the rest. Just, let him have this time. There it is, as he finds the kills that are necessary between all of them. Well played from InControl to control this one. And like you said, without having maybe, I guess, the Pluck loadout or the right talent to go with the half-shell loadout, this Makoa hasn't been hitting all the notes you'd want to see.
Yeah, definitely without the cooldown. You might even have to rush Grodos, honestly, if he wants to be able to have the hook up enough. Look at this aggression, and Barrack's dead. Interesting play. Groundford tried to make it happen, but Barrack is Barrack, and now InControl. Pushing here right in as Roopson tries to do a miracle thing, and all the ults are coming in.
They're going to be able to get aggressive. It's whether or not the return, I should say, from Fatal Ambition is going to be anything. This payload's just moving on forward. 1:32 left on the clock. Something tells me they aren't going to need all of that time. They're walking it right on in. Someone contests Groundford. That was literally blink and you miss it. I think I missed half his health bar, and my eyes were glued to the screen. 0, 3, and 1. Hey, look, this time they got 3 kills in the first round. That's an improvement. Unfortunately, maybe not the ones they'd want to be making. Game still not in their favor. 7, 0, and 4. They finally pull Mika back a little bit and control that pace a little bit more for the Shaolin. I don't know. This is just running away in favor of InControl.
Yeah, they kind of just look unstoppable here, honestly, with them running it down. And I'm not sure what that General Assault was, by the way. I think I should have been in free camp for that one to really see, but that was a very strange ult, kind of thrown into the sky to try to block something, I guess. Maybe they thought the Andrew was up there, but Roopson, he didn't get it off. Luckily for him, they hold on to it. And now we gotta see if Groundford can survive on this point, because he has literally just had 2 classical Barrack lives in a row. Walk in, instantly die.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, Dome Shield, wow, didn't even charge that round. He's just now getting it. That is going to be online, 100%. If he gets forced early on, that could be bad news bears for Fatal Ambition. Good shots coming from Mika. I don't know why I sound surprised. It's been happening for the last, 1.5 games that they've been going for. 6 points straight. Now it's whether or not Fatal Ambition can hold on any longer, at least trying to find some sort of pressure or defense that can come through. There's Ancient Rage to stay alive. The aggression going to be solid. It doesn't seem to be buying them too much time. King Kaiser goes down on the side. Very quiet game so far from the Lex compared to what you'd want to see. All the ults down, save for that spike on Fatal Ambition as RC God goes down. Now Groundford joins him in the ground, and they're going to get locked away. That 99% is looking to turn to 100. Genos can only survive so long And unfortunately, it just feels like Fatal Ambition, not only the stagger, but the 4v5, all of the ults used maybe too early there, end up losing that point.
Yeah, and they spend them just to get back in because of all that pressure the InController are putting out, which is the hardest problem, I think, for them to get through. Look at that perfect shield by Divino. It keeps them alive for now, but they're not really pushing out at all. They're all just stuck in that corner, and the collapse is coming in.
I mean, this is, look, Kresnik, this is, what, end of push aggression right now? Like, Mika should not be able to stand in this position unless the payload is within 10 feet of getting converted. And that's unfortunate overall for Fatal Ambition. I don't have that much aggression against them. Whoa,
No.
where?
He went to whirl off the side and then ult to try to do the flank. And didn't ult in time. He just whirled into the pit on the flank side, and now InControl get to engage with a pick down, and Divino won't be able to survive.
Unfortunate. Minute and a half left on the clock. I said this, wow, it feels like not too long ago. They were in control. Looks like they could try to find the conversion. Headed versus the Ice Monkey are going to be able to find that trade. RC Gods now in the back line. Arrows look a little more powerful if they can connect. Mika, that's all we're waiting for here. Undying, by the way, for that Shaolin. King Kaiser looking to try and get it. RC Gods just playing distraction factor at this point. We'll have to see if they can maintain it. Nope, the answer's no. That's answered immediately for me as to whether or not he could just stay back there. RC God eradicated, erased, eviscerated. Fatal Ambition are in a good position. As of right now, they'll find a defense. 2 tanks still alive, not getting melted the way they were earlier on. Maybe they can find themselves more of a pause as payload just at the cusp of the hill, headed. Finds a kill, but this is going back and forth.
And they actually, the fact that he got the kill on Mika was huge because look how close he is to another barrage already. Mika was on a big streak, and he got a lot of that back in the pocket here. But the card's getting closer. This Barrack needs to hold on and might even get this dome shield forced out if the pressure stays on.
Kills coming through. There's through time and space. Can't reversal that one, luckily. Doesn't have to. Either way, stays alive. 16 seconds left. Trying to push it on forward. They're going to get as forceful as they need to make this one go forward. Good hook coming down from Makoa. Gets rid of King Kaiser. Mika, though, gets rid of Headed on the other side. Respawn advantage means Headed in 6 seconds will be rocking out that door and able to see the battlefield. But can he get out in time? Is he going to be able to respawn? Ice Monkey doing his best to stay alive. Dome Shield making sure things are prolonged here. It's looking solid so far, especially with Amadeus gone. Ice Monkey looking to be the next to fall. Not a lot of healing even though Susan's still around and everybody is trying to keep him topped off. They get the kill though. Mika finally taken down after a 20 streak was accrued for the Shaolin. You know, gets a good hook. Just barely, but still done. Fatal Ambition get themselves a defense.
Yeah, barely managing to hold on, like you said. Groundford getting all 3 of the kills he has so far in this game in that final desperate push, being able to stay alive with that dome shield. It really is the biggest source of impact that I think Barrack has, and they didn't spend the law for it. So now any shield that they want to delete, they can just use that early, and Kaiser should, hopefully for their sake, charge it up again. Fatal Ambition, they only really have this Ancient Rage to fall back on at this point with that aggressive push, but we know how little it can sometimes be able to get away with if the team is ready to counter it. We'll see how far forward they can go, and it's a lot, I think, on RC and Divino. Can they get in the backline? Can they pressure Max and find that kill with the hook? They have pluck. If they're not killing their hooks, then what good was the Makoa in the first place?
Yeah, I think it's that awkward moment where, like you said, everything's coming up great. Honestly, I would say for the Makoa, it's just not the follow-up that you would want instead. And so there's maybe some pressure to be had. Luckily, this is, I want to say a second chance overall. Maybe I guess it's a third chance since it's the third round to try and capture yourselves amid. This hook important, especially when you have something like Pluck. I mean, you're going to have the damage available for you if you're Divino. You just need the follow-up from your team to guarantee the kill happens. Unfortunately for Makoa, and this is good for a frontline, he just can't do it all by himself.
Yeah, for sure. You need someone else to help him. That hook does miss early, and Divino will need to cross the gap here, but immediately the RC tried to flank and just got deleted by this Androxus, and the push is starting to bring control.
Says, get him out of here. I don't want to deal with any sort of sin in my backline, and I don't think anybody does. So he's just deleting him, what felt like from the game, although he's going to respawn and come back in. We'll have to see if he can be aggressive or not. Divino erased. Mika trades his life for that one, though. Headed finally able to get some of these trades. There's a good spot on Amadeus. Doesn't find the kill, though. The reversal comes up just in time. Not enough to save him. Looked like it was going to be interesting. Ice Monkeys at 66%, make it 70 as they go on up. Finally, they have to fall back on the side of InControl. Fatal Ambition can move in. Comeback Mechanic enabled. Might be able to do something here.
I like how they give it up too. They back up till they get everyone back. They can reheal pretty quickly with their Corvus, so not too much lost here. A Blind Barrage finds effectively nothing, and they weren't looking for this, and the time and space misses too.
Couple of good shots. Skin Kaiser looking to lock it in. Has the Lexecute, and he's going to be going for it. Doesn't find the shot he needs, but does destroy a shield in the process. Either way, it's going to cause some trouble on the side of Fatal Ambition. Mika's backing Kaiser, finding some kills and making sure that we aren't just saying one name the whole time. And with this, they seem to be confident. Ice Monkey standing on the objective, 99 to 81. No one from Fatal Ambition here. Whirl going to get Xin in. Hello, gonna get him out, but is it gonna be enough? No, he's taken down. Overtime disappears. InControl lose 1 point. They still win themselves the game.
See that firing squad right now? We're on the point looking at that Genos. There was no way he was making it there with everybody that was ready for him. InControl playing really tight that game, honestly. I felt like they didn't do anything really completely alone, even with the flankers that they had. Everything was synced up. The Andro would come with an Accursed Arm right when the Inara was pushing, right when the Lex would start shoving in up front. It was just, I think, a really well-played game in general by InControl. But I think Fatal Ambition, for the weird draft that they had, I think they didn't make it look that bad.
Yeah, I think, again, it felt solid. And, you know, you have to go back and realize, again, Divino's running a loadout that doesn't mesh well with talent. Still able to have a lot of good hooks there and maybe set things up. It just seemed like ultimately, I think Fatal Ambition, interesting, not enough. InControl, interesting and enough. Mika, I don't know where this person's Shaolin has been hanging out, Kresnik, but I need to see more of it all the time or it needs to get banned. 15, 4, and 12. It has been enough to convince me Shaolin should be in the meta. I'm kind of confused where he is and why he's not being picked up too often because of the fact that he's able to have a performance like that.
I'll tell you right now that in North American ranked, he's pretty much banned every game. I think teams just prefer some of the more consistent hit scans. Also in North America, which is a region where you'd expect to see the shove, there's a lot of controller players. A lot of the DPS are controllers, so maybe you don't see it coming out as much necessarily. The ROM apparently just went running by my house. The ROM able to be stopped by other forces, you know, that Grover, that Genos, they play that, and they say, well, we want a DPS, and maybe that can do a little bit more. But apparently watching these games, apparently Shaw can just do it all.
Yeah, I mean, hey, sometimes, look, you need a guy that can literally get it all done. Mika seems to be the person. That's a good pickup so far for InControl and having as a player to make sure that they're going to continue this. And you know what, Kresnik? The question is, you know, Jag Falls looks great. Bright Marsh looks great. Very similar maps. Can you go somewhere different and make it look just as good? Let me guess, with that kind of face, it's Splitstone Quarry. That is going to be the next map. Oh.
I had to look somewhere else. It is Stone Keep, but it was given to me as Bright Marsh again. So I had to go double check somewhere else.
Bright Marsh Part 2,
Electric.
Stone Keep Boogaloo.
Ooh, okay. Maybe we'll see a retexturing maybe. That'll be a fun little April Fool's joke. If that is the decision.
That'd be a lot of work for an April Fool's joke.
That would be an insane amount of work for an April Fool's joke.
That's the thing. I'm a big fan of like seasonal maps, things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But man, does it take so much work to level designers, stop making anything new and go in there and put some pumpkins on Bright Marsh or something. Like it'd be cute though. I think a little bit of snow, a little bit of pumpkins. I'd be a fan of it to be able to come through. I'm sure a lot of people would like that. And you know what? I'm just talking while I'm buying time. That's really all this is. It's a discussion of buying time.
That's
Turkeys.
Isn't that just our job though, Gore? Isn't our job just to talk to buy time?
Well, and it's also you only get into conversations like this so far when one team is winning pretty heavily. And because I mean, let's look at it. What can Fatal Ambition do to turn back? I think a lot of it happens here in the draft. Hey, perfect timing that comes through. It's dealing with things like the Shaolin, but again, do you ban Shaolin? He's had 2 phenomenal games, and you said it's worth banning in North American ranked games.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's worth banning here and PPC against InControl after it's had 2 great games, especially over a Xin.
Yeah, I would think so. Although, remember, this is Fatal Ambition banning Xin from themselves after they went 2-14 with it. So maybe they're just keeping themselves from picking it if they just can't resist it. It's a safety ban. Just in case they feel too tempted to take it a little bit later, they want to make sure that that is not a choice that they have with Xin taken out early. I think Vivian on the other side makes a ton of sense. Again, hit scans on the side of Fatal Ambition. You don't want to give them the Vivian who can easily run away with the game, but Genos banned again, so no Shaolin. They don't want to get rid of him. Maybe they want a chance to pick it up for themselves. RC could look good playing it, so one last ban here, and InControl will stick to their guns. Vivian and Ashe for the start in Fatal Ambition. They have a first pick available to themselves, and I think if things are going to stay the same, they're going to stay the same. Corvus, again, first picked. It won one game, lost another. Fatal Ambition, hope they can kind of change fate for themselves with it.
Yeah, pull it back in their favor. I do say, though, Fatal Ambition, Victor is probably going to be prominent for him. Very good map for him. Stone Keep, I think, kind of fits him. Maybe, I would argue, better than Vivian. I think I highly, like, the two alternate value based on map in my mind, and Victor maybe a little more prominent here. And that Torvald, Kresnik, I forgot about him. He's been banned in Brazil. He's not picked up in Europe. North America are the ones that really have been able to showcase it. Andro, Torvald, crossing my fingers for a BK that can come into this comp. That's usually the only time we get to see him is picked up alongside of Torvald. That could get out of hand very fast.
Yeah, for sure. It can kind of just run away with it. With that, but Torv isn't as much of a damage pocket anymore. He's more of just a sustain pocket, right? So the Andro will be able to be a little bit more aggressive than before. In our Tyra, interesting pickups there. Tyra will stop point control and actually be able to trade into the Andro well. So, whoa, what's up?
Tyra, she's real. She's yes. Tangible. She's here. I mean, that's someone, hey, I'm going to say it, off the beaten path, I would say, overall. Not someone you get to see too often. I guess she comes in a little more than some of the other champions that we've seen today, Drogo's especially. But I would argue I've seen her more lately on Jag Falls, not necessarily Stone Keep, or you can maybe control the fire spread a little bit better there on Jag Falls than here. They go, they lost me. I think that Tyra was not a pickup for them. I think that Tyra was a pickup to take it away from InControl so they could get the tanks. And now I'm not a big fan anymore.
Here's the problem, though, Gore. They didn't ban for this. They didn't ban for this at all, which means InControl, they get Willow, which is not a good thing to play against when you're playing Pirate Ship, when you're sitting on the objective, when you're just waiting to capture the point. You have to ban blasters. You have to ban characters that can really kind of own you, whether it be, Tiger with the blade, whether it be the Willow, whether it be Dredge. You have to ban at least some of those characters. InControl say, all right, well, let's get Willow. We'll just blast you. You didn't ban it. We can go under your Terminus Siphon if we're angled right, and InControl probably not feeling too bad about their draft heading into this tank point stacking comp that Fatal Ambition picked up.
And you get Torvald plus Willow, Torvald plus Andro. I mean, the damage isn't going to be lacking on the side of InControl. Tyra, I think, is going to have a lot of trouble standing on the side of Fatal Ambition. Same thing for Anara, Makoa, Terminus. If the hooks hit, but there's no follow-up, much like we just saw, they don't mean much. So Fatal Ambition, a lot of pressure to make this one work. It is a composition, though, again, running back the years and years of Paladins, what, we've lost 2 in a row, we want to see what we can do, we need to slow them down, let's just try to live longer than they do in terms of the tanks. But like you said, with Willow, honestly, I think even as weird as it is to say it, Drogo's could have been in that position and probably felt pretty comfortable. I think there's a lot that you could lock in here, and both bringing their own merits that would have just made Fatal Ambition sad.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it historically done it in that sense, like the kind of desperate figure something out. We've also seen it as on the game one, and we think we're the worst team and we want to at least get a map off of it. I mean, look at LAN. When Hype Unit PCL came to play against some of these PPL teams, what did they do? They stood on point and got a Money Dragon the entire game. So rough for them, but interesting again to see Pluck being played by this kind of tank stacking comp. Maybe they're changing their minds. They're saying, all right, well, I guess we can't stand on point if we gave them Willow. What's the other choice, though? Now you're stuck with triple tank. Your Tyra is your only real damage dealer. This Makoa has the weight of the world on his shoulders to hit these hooks, or else they're not going to be able to equalize these fights at all.
It's a longer cooldown now than it used to be.
And there we go.
That's already a big whiff on hook number 1. Not exactly how you want this game to start if you are Fatal Ambition. Although the damage does seem to exist up here in Keep. Pressure on the point, 24%. They have early game tanks though, so they should be able to hold on to that. No problem. Andro reversal, gonna go down. First blood still goes to RC God. Nice Ice Monkey's getting aggressive. I'm watching to see where
Okay.
this Willow goes. What Torvald can do, this triple tank comp, is putting in some work.
Yeah, they're making it happen for now. They gotta leave. This Torvald really has no line of sight. They can't play inside, I think, is the big thing for me on InControl. They gotta play out to let this Torvald get some line of sight. Help them survive this as they group up on point, but Headed, no peel. He just stands in the middle of his team and gets killed with even with all these shields available.
Oh, there's a good hook down. Unfortunately, not enough to find a kill. No follow-up damage to make that one go through. 90% seems large for Fatal Ambition, but I'm having flashbacks. The Jag falls. 75 was their mark there. They failed at it twice. Faith Flight already charged for Willow. Same thing for the Accursed Arm available. And that's going to cause a big fork in the road right here. Good damage, good dead zone, and just good kills coming out. Amadeus gets one, Mika finds another. And now you're putting the weight of the carries in the world for them. They're going to be able to find it, no problem. A couple more kills even helps them get this point. Well, Divino stalls it 1 second longer. Now with this overtime bar, they capture point number 1. They're off to a good start on Stone Keep.
I'm not sure how they're even going to hold this. They have almost no poke, and now they have no heals because Rubson just dies to Amadeus, poking him down from Fireside. A lot of so much sustain between these tanks. A triple headshot from Amadeus. He's making it look so easy.
Yeah, like it's almost nothing for him to be able to kind of float in. And honestly, what's actually been interesting, like I mean that in a nice way, honestly, it's just because he's playing very well. It's nothing against Fatal Ambition. But realistically, I think this is a good chance for him to show off because, I mean, it's been the Mika show all day so far. I want Amadeus to wake up the way his name indicates and to start singing the way that Falcon intended, right? Amadeus, Amadeus. Rock me Amadeus. That's what's happening right here for Fatal Ambition. Unfortunate for them, as that Immortal comes out, saves his life. The Cursed Arm almost charged up. 1 minute, 40 seconds left. And they finally get rid of Rock Monkey, or Ice Monkey, Rock Monkey, in a completely different region. Mika goes down. King Kaiser is able to find 2, though, and keeps this conversation going.
Yeah, ridiculous Hyper Beam from him. It's tough that they just lost other people during that. All the ults came out from Fatal Ambition, or most of them, just feeling like that was their only way to really equalize this fight with the Seismic Crash, Entropic Breach, and Crossfire having to find some kills there. But it let them push out, it let them go past these choke points. Now they'll have to back up through it, the space being retaken by InControl. They have to stay so close because, again, they don't have the poke to play far back. They're just going to get bullied by Willow and by the Endro if they try to make that happen.
Once again, Faith Flight's going to be coming through. This is a dangerous game to be playing. You can't leave your base easily with those shots coming down. Not finding a lot of kills, though, just the pressure. And there's good hooks in the backline. RC God trades out one for another, but gets the support. That should slow things down a little bit more. Good grouping from InControl, though, means they're going to get aggressive here, Kresnik. If Ino goes down, they're going to be able to start pushing this payload forward.
Yeah, they're gonna get this kill for sure on Headed. Absolutely no escape for him. And Rubson held on to that projection a really long time. Amadeus is just running rampant right now through them. There's no way they can get out. Again, big craniums on both of them remaining, and he's gonna put an Accursed Arm in the way too.
It's going to be a couple of shots. Divino goes down into the ground. Reanimate going to be coming through. Reversal comes up to absorb it. Not only that, but it was a second too late. The push goes in anyway. You don't count as an entity there. And Kresnik, look, I'm going to tell you, that's a Tilterino if I'm Fatal Ambition. I am upset.
Yeah, it's not good, Gore. I don't know how else to say it. All right, it's time for me, Big Brain, to break it down. Things aren't going well. I think that's about the best I can possibly put it for Fatal. The comp that they drafted just not working right now. It was a desperate attempt to maybe take away some tanks from them. They just wanted to play in a way that maybe the Torvald didn't make a difference. I think might have been the way they were looking by having that, but the pirate ship just doesn't work into the Willow. If they ban the Willow, if they ban another AoE, this could work. They could stay on the point, but solely because of that Willow, they have to play it completely differently, and that's where it's kind of just breaking down.
Well, this Willow doesn't seem to be consistently falling down, and as of now, that's causing trouble for them up here. A lot of low health bars for these tanks. Ice Monkey, again, being the one that's getting aggressive. Not what you expect out of a Nando, but they're doing it anyway as of right now. It's going to be a good Immortal, keeps him alive. RC God goes down. Amadeus loses his life in the process, though, so a good trade, 1-for-1. Hyper Beam, hey, that got a couple kills last time, almost coming up. Might just be used for space here, or might not be used at all. If he can just shield up this Willow in her Fae Flight and find some solid kills. Gonna go up, look into keep, try to lock him down. No one on Fatal Ambition can show their face around this point, at least right now. Headed maybe finding that out the hard way. Roopson goes down, Headed goes down as Amadeus gets aggressive. You're too busy worried about the Fae Flight and not so much about Amadeus coming through. Point control still in favor of the red squad here. It looks like this should go ahead and convert itself to 100. No one's standing on the point right now, though, so it might take them a little bit of time. They'll get to 100. That might have been an open window. No one on Fatal Ambition is going to be close enough, so that's going to be another dub, at least there in terms of the mid-fight. Let's see if Fatal Ambition have another defense in them here on the push.
Yeah, they're holding close, though, so already doing it kind of right here. Hook does get missed by RC, so that equalizer not going to be there. But they have the crush instead, but he misses Ice Monkey. Ice Monkey keeps his shield up. They're able to rotate away. They have that triple tank death ball moving forward, but everyone else is just playing so safe.
Kaiser gone. Usually I talk about Torvald comps. Once you get rid of the Torvald, it feels like things should get easier, but I don't know if that's actually going to happen here overall for Fatal Ambition. It's definitely going to stall out InControl a little bit more. If you can actually stop him is a completely different conversation. Snake stun goes through, no Ancient Rage just in time to stop that from happening. Unfortunately, the health bar is still plummeting like it's nothing. A great Immortal from Ice Monkey keeps Amadeus alive and keeps the kills rolling in for InControl as of right now. Headed looks to be the next one to fall. Amadeus, a little questionable here, but he finds the shots anyway. Mika in with the assist on that one. Make sure it happens. Hey, Accursed Arm, kills come through. Payload's still moving forward.
Wow, that was a perfect use of that Accursed Arm here, too, is just desperation on the hook and them holding as they fall down, with them just locking them in the doors. And look at Kaiser's positioning here. He's just going to hyper beam them off. They have to deal with them. It's a Torvald. They have to turn and kill him, but he's just hyper beaming them away. No one can even touch the point. RC gets knocked off too InControl. Kaiser just stands next to the spawn door, takes like 4,000 damage from it, but wins him the game.
Look, yeah, you're named appropriately, at least for that set, right? They drop 1 point throughout all of that, and it's a defense at that, and barely so. If you're going back and looking at that, I think it's a very narrow defense there for Fatal Ambition. Maybe a lot of work still to be done there. Drafts, talent choices, a lot of things that could potentially come through to improve all around what they're going to be bringing. Either way, it looks pretty solid for them on the side of InControl, making sure things continue going their way, because Brazil, I mean, it's been pretty close, at least in the top 4, if I remember correctly. This is a very much needed win. Yeah,
for sure, to help them kind of move forward, right, and in this region and try to stay up there. I think they're mostly looking to stay in that top 4 to at least avoid relegations moving forward. And there's a big gap, I think, between them and other people. They just want to be able to stay competitive with Carnage, with Ignite, and hopefully with Parallax, with how close Carnage were able to play them in the previous weeks. But, well, we can take a look at these stats. I don't know how much we're going to really glean from them, considering King Kaiser on Torvald managed to outdamage the Tyra on the other team. That is not a common sight.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a lot, but it's still more, which is nothing short of upsetting. I think I'm trying to find a maybe nicer way, less harsh way to say it. But the Torvald gets a lot done. 3-2-17, a lot of assists as you would expect. 4-7-5 there for Headed. 0-6 for Groundford. You know, you can look at the slash lines all day for Fatal Ambition. I don't think it matters. Amadeus, this time around, gets the Mika performance, 17-4-10. You've just had 2 people on this team being monsters. King Kaiser, Ice Monkey, and Souza just doing the job to make sure that Mika and Amadeus can run rampant without having to have any worries. I think it's always the good sign of a team when, you know, maybe Ice Monkey, Souza aren't making crazy plays. We saw a lot of really great Immortals that game from Ice Monkey. But for the most part, all the kills ended up in one spot and one spot only, and this Andro was really able to showcase what he had.
Yeah, for sure. Amadeus definitely showing why Andro is a priority pick for their team sometimes. And actually, this is a pretty good thing for InControl with them tying the record of Carnage. We can look at the standings, because you might be saying, but Kresnik, isn't there supposed to be another game? But turns out Tempest team actually forfeited to Ignite Gaming. I'm not sure what happened. Off the back of a win last week, they went on a 1-week-long bender. And I guess they're just coming off of it now, and no one was able to show up to play the match. So Tempest team forfeiting to Ignite Gaming. The Ignite gets to move forward, and the top 4 continue to distance themselves from the bottom 2 here. Parallax still 11-0. Carnage InControl still tied in record.
Yeah, now I'm, again, doing math on cast, something Vox has always advised against. But running it back, I'm going to go ahead and say that Parallax Gaming cannot be caught up by Fatal Ambition and Tempest team. Call it a hunch. There's almost 50 maps separating the two, and not enough weeks in the day
Or you just don't
to be
believe.
able to get there. Either way, it's still close. I mean, Carnage are really riding the coattails, trying to get up there with Parallax. InControl, I think, surprising me that they're tied with Carnage. I thought they were maybe going to be closer to where Ignite Gaming are, 6 and 5. Either way, those middle or like that 2, 3, 4 spot realistically are the ones that I think you have to watch the most here in Brazil, because they're the ones that are changing everything.
Yeah, and the last matchup for those round robins are gonna be happening soon. Dude, there's only 4 weeks left for Brazil after this. Only 4 matchups. So I think if Parallax wins one more time, if Parallax can still be caught up to at this point, even at 11-0. They just have to
That's insane.
Really start losing, and one of those losses is going to have to be to the bottom team. I think both of them might have to be. So hard to say that it's going to happen. The odds are incredibly low that that is going to happen at all, but it is still a possibility.
Still possible.
But it's still possible, and that's our job, right? To tell everyone the possibilities of what they might be able to see in these tournament brackets. Score. We have North America coming up after this. I mean, how are you feeling about that Sanguine Project matchup we're going to be watching?
It's a weird world we live in where Project, at least in my mind, if they get a game, I'll be honest, I'll be colored surprised just because of the way things have been going, the trending downward. Sanguine, surprisingly though, a really rough first 6, 7, 8 weeks it feels like of phase 2, and then realistically these last few have been jumping up and making a difference for them. So if they can continue on the path they've been on, this could be a really good set for them. Yeah,
I'd agree. I think it absolutely can be, with how Project have also been looking recently. And we can take you right over to North America. We'll board the plane and we'll get off after this break.